The true problem, the true difficulty, and where the greatest potential is building the machine that makes the machine. In other words, building the factory.
We're going to talk about Tesla's next generation Gigafactory. Before we start, I want to thank the Vasa law firm in Sweden and all my Patreon supporters for helping this channel grow. Please check the link below to support this channel on Patreon. The next generation Tesla Gigafactory is going to change the world. Are you ready? Let's go! Tesla's first factory in Fremont and the current factory in Shanghai are spectacular. But the new factories in Berlin and Texas are going to be much, much better. We're going to go beyond that. Elon talked with Sandy Monroe about the next generation Gigafactory.
Right. I mean, at some point we'll probably switch to single-piece casting. I think we need to get the Texas factory and the Berlin factory going. It's hard to change the wheels on the bus when it's going 80 miles an hour down the highway. Yeah. You know, Model 3 is like was most of our volume. Model Y will exceed Model 3. Yeah. We just need basically an opportunity to kind of redo the factory without blowing up the cash flow of the company.
Right. Yeah.
We need to redo the factory after we finish Giga Berlin and Giga Texas. Elon is talking about a next generation factory. There are several things that go into the next generation factory. A better product, a product that's designed to be easier to manufacture, higher volume, lower capex, capital expenditure, a factory that's quicker to build, a factory that is smaller, has a smaller footprint, a factory that uses less energy. We saw all of this on Battery Day. A lot of Battery Day, Drew Baglino and Elon Musk talked about how they could design the cell, how they could make a better product, a better battery cell, but also how the process of making a better battery cell involved a smaller, more efficient factory that could produce in higher volume. It could rapidly produce batteries, so you radically increase the volume. And it's the same idea. And Elon has talked about the ideal factory before. Listen to this.
The true problem, the true difficulty, and where the greatest potential is building the machine that makes the machine. In other words, building the factory. I actually think that the potential for improvement in the machine that makes the machine is a factor of 10 greater than the potential on the car side. I think maybe more than a factor of 10. When you think of a production facility on a fundamental level, for a given size of factory, the output is going to be volume times density times velocity. What is the density of useful to non-useful volume? It's crazy low. It's like 2 or 3%. If you look at volumetrically, not just on a planar level, but volumetrically, it's literally 2 or 3%. What is a reasonable expectation for the exit velocity of vehicles from the factory? And at first you may think that, say, some of these advanced car factories around the world are very good at making cars, and they may make a car every 25 seconds. And that sounds fast, but actually, if you say, well, the length of the car plus some buffer space is approximately 5 meters, and so it's taking 25 seconds to move 5 meters. Okay, that's 0.2 meters per second. You know, you're not much faster than a tortoise at that point. Slow walk would be approximately, or slow to medium walk would be 1 meter per second. And a fast walk would be 1.5 meters per second. And the best car factories in the world are doing 0.2. Like, seems like you should be able to have cars exit at least walking speed. This doesn't seem so crazy. The density improvement, like there may be as much as an order of magnitude improvement in density possible as well, going from maybe 2 or 3% to 20 or 30% of the volumetric density being optimal. With less, like significantly less engineering effort, we can make dramatic improvements to the machine that makes the machine. We're basically design a factory like you design an advanced computer. And I found that like once you sort of explain this to a first-rate engineer, the light bulb goes on. They're like, wow, as JB was saying, like they spend huge amounts of effort trying to get a fraction of a percent of improvement on the product itself. But actually, that same amount of effort will yield an order of magnitude greater result if you focus on building the machine that builds the machine.
It's about the machine that builds the machine. The machine that builds the machine. T-shirt link in the description below, elonbits.com. Car companies and other companies building products focus on building the product. Elon and JB and Drew from Tesla, the Tesla team, have figured out that there's a lot of gain in improving the machine that builds the machine, that if you build the factory better, you ultimately can deliver a product that's better at lower cost and greater volume. That's what's coming. That's the next generation factory coming after Berlin and Austin. That's something that Elon has been pursuing. And the problem is we got to get something built to get cars out so we can sell stuff so we get money in the company. And now that Berlin and Austin are about to take that big load off and let the company really ramp vehicles and generate revenue, and they've got the battery factory down. The battery factory already is heading towards that machine that builds the machine. They've really got that optimized. And the next step now is to optimize the vehicle factory. And in fact, the vehicle factory may become so optimized that they'll be able to build more vehicles than are needed.
So basically what I'm saying is, I think it is possible to improve automotive manufacturing efficiency by at least 1,000% and possibly 10,000%.
That would be an incredible number.
Yeah, it's more cars you need.
The big mystery is, what's next? What goes into the next generation factory? How do they use volume more efficiently? How do they reduce the footprint? How do they change the product to make it possible to make the factory more efficient? A lot of these things coming together. The next generation will use single piece casting for the whole car. Right now, Model Y uses a single casting for the rear of the car. Berlin and Texas will be using a rear casting and a front casting with a structural battery pack in the middle. So that's going to be 3 pieces put together. The next generation Gigafactory is going to do one whole piece with the structural battery pack in the middle. When Tesla went to the single piece rear casting, they eliminated 300 robots. They eliminated a lot of labor. They saved a lot of weight. They made the car better. When they go to front casting, they're going to save 300 more robots. They're going to save more weight. They're going to make it better.
Just having the rear body castings for Model Y allowed us to reduce the body shop by 30%.
Yeah.
So there's roughly 1,000 robots on the Model 3 body line. We got rid of 300 robots just with that rear body casting.
Yeah.
And then when we go to the front body casting, we're getting rid of another 300 robots.
When they add structural battery pack, they're going to save a lot more weight. They're going to make the vehicle better.
A rear casting, a front casting, and then the center will be a structural pack.
Yeah.
That's all happening in Berlin and Texas. In the next generation factory, Tesla is going to go to 48-volt wiring up from 12-volt wiring. 12-volt wiring is old, 48-volt wiring is new. It's going to be lighter. It's going to use less wires. They're going to combine data and power on the same wires, which saves more weight. And they're going to design it so that it can be installed by robots, which saves more labor.
We have a lot to improve on the wiring front. So like 12 volts, I mean, what are we still doing with 12 volts?
42 is where everybody should be, but
I think 48.
that'll reduce the wire diameters and stuff like that, and,
Yeah.
and that's just nothing but cash in the bank.
12 volts is like very much a vestigial voltage. Like this is powered Ethernet, this like phone here. Nobody's worried about like powered Ethernet at like whatever 48, 50 volts. That's really what the car's low voltage system should be at.
Yeah.
But you want to put power and data over the same wires.
That's right.
And have it be high speed, like higher speed than CAN bus.
Right.
And so you can like basically dump data on the bus instead of having all these point-to-point wires.
Beyond single piece casting for the whole chassis and 48-volt wiring designed so that robots can install it, I really haven't come up with a lot of other brilliant ideas about what's going forward. Here's the thing. When Battery Day was coming, a lot of us speculated about what was coming. We had a pretty good idea there would be something with the cathode. We had a pretty good idea there would be something with the anode. We had some hint that the battery size would be different. Nobody saw the tabless architecture coming. The tabless architecture had important features that makes the battery better, but it was also really important for increasing the velocity of production. We knew the dry battery electrode was going to help with size and footprint. I don't think we grasped how much it would help. I don't think we grasped how much it was going to reduce the capital required to build the battery cell factory. And we didn't see structural pack coming. So my best guess going forward is at some point they're going to reveal the 2023 compact, and at the same time they're going to reveal the factory. The product is not just the vehicle, it's the factory. And they go together, just like structural battery pack goes together with battery design. It's going to be about both. And we're going to see 2, 3, 4, 5 features that they're going to add to the factory and the vehicle that makes producing the vehicles much, much faster, that allows the factories to be packed in much more densely, to use the space, to use the volume of the factory much more efficiently. That's what's coming. They've done it with Battery Day. They've done it with the battery cell lines. Now they need to do it with the vehicle lines. And what really stuck out to me was that last bit when Elon said they'd be able to make more vehicles than needed. I've been doing some numbers on this, and I think there is an upper limit. Once you have robotaxis, you may not need that many vehicles. It may be that they just make 3 of these factories and they're able to spit out so many cars that you won't need to build more factories, and they're going to produce enough cars at such low cost that we're done, that the vehicle problem is done, that there are enough vehicles being produced that it's over. I do have some ideas for things that are outside the box that could make it better. Like suppose they built a car without windows. How much less expensive would it be to build a car without windows? How much weight would it save? How much faster would the manufacturing process be if you didn't have to put the windows in? You'd be able to spit cars out faster. You could replace windows with LCD screens that would be easy to put in, wouldn't need to be structural. If people want to see what's going on outside, you just set them to look at what's going on outside the car with the cameras. But if people want to do something else, you do that. If it's a robotaxi and you don't need to drive, then you can create an immersive experience doing whatever you want. You could be playing video games, watching movies, whatever. You could watch hyperspace blowing by you and just chill. You could watch green fields. Doesn't matter. Ocean breezes, ocean waves rolling in. That's kind of an outside the box thing. I don't think regulators are going to be ready for a windowless car anytime soon. But that's a step that could make vehicle manufacturing that much more efficient. What do you think? What innovations do you think Tesla might come up with to make the next generation factory, the factory beyond Berlin and Texas? What could they do to increase volume of production, to use space more efficiently, to design a vehicle that costs less, that's more efficient? How can they get there? I don't have a lot of great answers yet. I'm not sure anybody else does outside of Tesla. I think people inside Tesla know. So in the comments below, please tell me what you think. What innovations do you think they might come up with that would make these things better? If you like this video, please check out my other videos. Support this channel on Patreon, links below. Check out the t-shirts, including the machine that builds the machine, my favorite t-shirt. Link to elonbits.com in the description below. And thank you so much for watching.